Hi everybody, Rob Case here. I thought I would do a quick in the car video vlog thing talking about Solo, a Star Wars story. I'm wearing my Rogue One hat to celebrate this momentous occasion. So, look, Solo is getting it's getting mixed reviews from critics. It has mixed reviews from critics, and it's doing very poorly at the box office relative to what Disney expects from their top tier Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars brands, and I don't quite understand why. I mean, I do a little bit, but I don't. I think it's unfair. And full disclosure, I did go to the world premiere of Solo: A Star Wars Story in Hollywood before it came out. However, that was not paid for by Disney. My friend and I paid our own way to go there, but still. So just so you know. And then I saw it there, and I saw it again this week. I went by myself to the other theater here in Guelph to go check it out again, and I really enjoyed it the second time. I really truly loved the characters, and I was pleasantly surprised by the support staff, like the whole team, like Woody Harrelson's Beckett character, Kira, played by Emilia Clarke, Thandie Newton's Val, like all these characters who I thought, oh, it's kind of, they're just taking popular TV people, it's just, it's all typecast type characters, but there were so many layers and so much complexity to those characters, and they were all pleasant surprises to me. But the biggest surprise of all was that I friggin' loved Alden Ehrenreich as a young Han Solo. And people, there was a lot of negativity going into this movie because of all these reports about there being acting coaches, the director switches, tonally no one really knew where the film was going, but Lawrence and John Kasdan, the father-son combo, wrote the whole thing, both versions of it, I guess, with, I think, a little help from Simon Kinberg. But anyways, it totally worked for me. I loved Alden's take on Han Solo. It felt like a younger version of Han we met in A New Hope. You know, a little less cocky, a little less confident, still always kind of looking over his shoulder on the run a little bit, which is kind of what Beckett's warning was from the beginning of this movie. Combined with like a young, naive Luke from A New Hope as well. Like, it's the perfect charm. Like, he's trying to be bold and cocky and impress the ladies, but he's kind of failing every time, and he's very naive. So Beckett made such a great mentor to Alden's Solo. So I really enjoyed it. My only problems with the film, and I'll put a spoiler warning in this if I ever upload it to YouTube. I keep recording these. I did this for like, I don't know, I feel like I did this for Avengers maybe and Thor. I never actually hit the publish button, but maybe no one will ever see this. But spoiler warning. The only thing I didn't like is the big cameo, which I actually didn't mind. Like, the idea of seeing Darth Maul show up as the real leader behind this crime syndicate called the Crimson Dawn. That's who Kira now reports to, and that's who Dryden, played by Paul Bettany, reported to. And actually, just tangent there, the Dryden character was supposed to be an alien played by Michael K. Williams, and that was shot almost, I think, entirely when Phil Lord and Chris Miller directed this film. And then when they reshot it, Michael K. Williams had scheduling conflicts, was not able to come back, so that's how Paul Bettany got the gig. He's friends with Ron Howard in real life. That's a shame. They could have done something different than a white dude with scars. They could have, that being an alien type character working for Maul makes more sense than having these white overlords all the time. It's like, minor thing. But Bettany as Dryden was cool. The name drop of the Terrace Cassie, the fighting style from the old PlayStation game and some of the Star Wars comics, super cool. All that crime syndicate stuff is neat. The Hutts, the Red Dawn, there's probably other ones they didn't really mention, and the name drops of some of these classic bounty hunters we know from the Star Wars lore, the hardcore fans will recognize. All cool. Anyways, so we learn that after Dryden dies, Kira takes over. So she is, while she does clearly have feelings for and cares about the goodness of Han, she's still out for herself and has bigger goals in mind. She has done things that she'll never be able to make up for, and she realizes that. Doesn't mean she's evil. Well, maybe she is evil, but she's not directly antagonistic to Han, at least not in this film. Whether or not they were able to make a Solo after these box office receipts remains to be seen. But anyways, long story short, Darth Maul is the overseer of the Crimson Dawn, played by Ray Park, who played him, the physical version of him, in episode 1 of Phantom Menace in 1999. Almost 2 decades ago he shot that. Can you believe that? Still looks great. He's got his robot legs now because he got cut in half by Obi-Wan, and we saw how he came back to life and regained his sanity in the Clone Wars animated series. We saw what he was up to after the events of this movie in Star Wars Rebels, where he sort of takes Ezra on as an apprentice, wants to seek out revenge against Obi-Wan. I don't know how they're ever going to touch on that in the films, even if they do make this Obi-Wan film. But the problem there is not the robot legs, not the appearance, not the voice by Sam Witwer, who voiced him in the animated series as well. It's him having this stupid lightsaber. Like, in the hologram, which is blue in color, because it is the hologram effect, he, like, I think he force pulls a lightsaber, and turns it on as he's talking to Kira, and then he turns on the other side of it to like double remind people of like, oh yeah, I have a double-bladed lightsaber. It was so cheesy and cringy and corny and out of place. And why was it red? It's a blue hologram. It like didn't make any sense at any level. You took a moment that was like, oh my god. And for most people who don't watch the animated series, most people have seen the prequels but never ever saw the animated series, that moment of seeing Darth Maul, you're like, oh wow, what? How is he? That dude got cut in half. How is he still there? I just pulled up Tim Hortons. I'm gonna do some work here. But anyways, that moment was dumb. You had Darth Maul, just have him do the conversation. That's your big over-the-line cameo. Save that for the future. That's it. No lightsaber shit. The other thing I don't like is the weird maneuver. When they're trying to do the Kessel Run, and Han's brilliant idea is to inject the engine with the hyperfuel and like blast it aside, and no one ever survives this. He does this weird maneuver he learned from one of his dead friends back on Corellia, where he deploys the landing gear in the Falcon, slides it along the surface of this asteroid thing with the idea of like having debris fly up and to knock out the TIE fighter following them because their gun turret was dead. I thought there were gun turrets at the top and bottom. Anyways, stupid sequence. He just slides it and breaks all the ship, and then that's your big thing. Like, isn't there debris already there in space? I don't know. It was really weird. The last thing I don't like is a tiny grip, and people don't usually care about this kind of stuff. But when when they're first on their way out of they call it the Maelstrom, I think, or is that the name of the Maw? Is it the Maw? The Maw is the big creature, or the Maw is the black hole thing, the red hole, and the Maelstrom is the weirdness on the outside. So they have to go through these tunnels to get through the Kessel Run safely. Anyways, on their way out, after they got the fuel from the spice mines of Kessel, whatever, there's a Star Destroyer blockade, right? Somehow trying to go into this thing and it deploys a bunch of TIE fighters to intercept the Falcon. There are regular TIE fighters, which we know from the original trilogy, but there are these other TIE fighters which look like TIE bomber prototypes or something that have a secondary bulb, not a cockpit, but like a smaller bulb beside it, where it fires its weapons from. And I thought, that was dumb. In this era, we already know there are A TIE bombers and B TIE interceptors, but they had to introduce a new stupid TIE fighter just to have that extra card in your card set, just to have that extra Lego set, just to have those extra Hasbro toys. There's no reason this thing should exist. They keep doing that everything. Same with Rogue One. They introduced the H-Wing or whatever the hell it's called, which they retconned into like other stuff via the Rebels series. And then they also introduced on the Imperial side the TIE Striker, which has these triangular wings, which is supposed to be like an in-atmosphere fighter, which doesn't even appear in the movie at all, basically. You see it in the background. So they just introduced one new ship with every movie to get that new toy. It's like they have the new X-Wings, right, in The Force Awakens, and then they had to introduce one more ship, so it's the new A-Wings you get to see in The Force Awakens. And I bet come time for Episode 9, if Lando's in it, we're going to see the new Cloud Car or the new B-Wing or the new Y-Wing, just to get that. I need that new Lego set. Those are my 3 gripes. But while visually, I like the visual style. I know there were a lot of complaints about the cinematography of Solo because of the darkness in some of the scenes, and maybe that's true. I didn't notice that at the time, though. It worked for me. I like the earth tones, which kind of very reminiscent of what Star Wars 1313, the video game, was going to be. This underworld, outlaw, bounty hunter, seedy, no force stuff, just like real gritty people, real outlaws doing dirty shit. And visually, that's what came across. I like the environments. I like how it's not basic desert, snow planet, beautiful jungle planet. We keep seeing that in every Endor, Scarif. We keep seeing that. This was different, you know. The rocky ice mountain train heist was cool. I love all that stuff. I also didn't like Jon Favreau's four-armed alien character. The voice felt like out of place. It felt like some prequel stuff, maybe. The way he was talking, dialect, and the character itself didn't fit. Didn't fit that crew, didn't fit the movie, didn't fit the tone. Didn't like it. They could have done any other sort of alien version of that. Maybe if you do a different, smaller alien, don't make him just wisecracking and weird, and I don't know, doesn't sound too Western sounding. I don't know, weird. But anyways, it's a good movie. I think I don't believe it's possible to go to the theater with a friend or whatever and see this movie and be like, oh, that wasn't good. No, it's great. Great performances. The best blaster action in the entire franchise. The gunslinger stuff that Beckett and Val do is incredible. And the way that's shot, also awesome. And some of the vehicle sequences from the speeder stuff at the very beginning, but most especially, of course, with the Millennium Falcon, is incredible. Some of the best space stuff they've seen, and visually amazing too in space too. Like when you see what goes on in the Kessel Run, the weird alien creature thing in the red hole, amazing, visually amazing. So I like the characters, I like the adventure, I like the heist aspect of it. I really truly want to see more of this Chewbacca, who is the standout again. Chewbacca is the king of the Disney era Star Wars films, the greatest and most underappreciated character. Jonas, the Swedish dude, is playing him now after Peter Mayhew cannot, is incredible as Chewie. So I want to see more of Chewie. I want to see more of Alden's hand. I want to see sequels, even though financially it may not make sense for Disney. I know they're doing a Boba Fett movie, so maybe they can work him into that. But anyways, I really, really enjoyed it. Go see it if you haven't, because I don't think you have, because the box office is not telling me you have. But I think you will enjoy it. You want to grade it. Personally, for me, I will stand by this. I like Rogue One and Solo, A Star Wars Story, more than I like Episodes 7 and 8. Those two movies, the more I think about them, the more I dislike them, whereas the anthologies stay better with time, and they're more character-focused. They show real sacrifice. It's really easy to get caught up into it, and it doesn't mess up to the lore. It adds to it and fleshes it out. Whereas the other ones, I think, are just repeating things we've seen before, but worse, and are nonsensical in what they do with major force-wielding characters. So that's it for me. I will see you next time. Cheers.